So you say that preparation is key, Will, but 8 to 10 inches of rain, that seems like a potentially dangerous situation, especially considering, as you mentioned, communities as well as the infrastructure in Puerto Rico still recovering from Hurricane Maria. I'm standing about 12 miles from downtown New Orleans at the Inner Harbor Navigational Canal. Kurt, this is the second time that authorities have responded to a fire here at Gentilly Ridge Apartments, but nothing quite like this. Firefighters are describing this event as massive, and as you can see just behind me, they are still working to extinguish hotspots. The word bizarre was used quite a few times when describing the announcement that the head of the Department of Housing and Urban Development won't allow Mayor Cantrell to sign for any requests for federal funding. Now, this is a really neat initiative. So if you are a resident living within a flood-prone area within the levee system, you may be able to receive a free rain barrel. Something that was eerie for me as someone who was impacted by Hurricane Katrina are the crosses that are on the side of the building. Could you explain to our viewers exactly what this means for search and rescue teams? The CEOs of major airline companies actually wrote that letter, I'm sure you remember, to the Biden administration saying, look, we're tired of the mask mandates on public transportation, specifically airplanes. It's causing a lot of havoc. However, we know that mandate specifically is still in place right now. Another topic of conversation is the supply chain crisis. How is President Biden coordinating ways to fix this issue during this summer? Because as we understand, this is not just something that is impacting the United States, but it's actually affecting the global economic recovery. Let's jump right into it. What exactly is stalled once again on Capitol Hill? Because we're hearing that some much needed congressional cooperation is really standing in the way of COVID-19. In about 20 minutes or so, we do expect to have a live announcement from President Biden himself speaking on the Russian war against Ukraine. We do expect him to announce possibly more sanctions, more economic penalties against Russia. And this is coming actually as Russia is accusing the United States of having a biological warfare camp in Ukraine, something that the administration continues to deny. All right, let's stay on the topic of how the Russian invasion of Ukraine is impacting energy sources. We've learned that President Biden is meeting this morning with the president of the European Commission, trying to reduce Europe's resilience on Russian energy. After an old Houston theme park, kind of paying homage to his childhood and really paying homage to the city of Houston. So is this something that the city usually supports, this concert? And if so, have we heard from any Houston city officials? That now it's time to really reimagine policing as a whole. You oversaw police reform in the city of New Orleans during your time as mayor. So I would love to know your thoughts, because you actually have experience doing this very thing. The most magical place on earth is getting some new rules. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law revoking Disney's self-governing power. The move is meant to penalize Disney after it criticized the governor's so-called "Don't Say Gay" law. That's right, Susie Kurt. The consent decree was enacted back in 2013 after the Department of Justice found patterns of corruption within the New Orleans Police Department. This took place in an effort to improve things and to avoid a government takeover. The 9 escapees all entered into a plea of a charge of simple escape. Now, this comes as law enforcement continues to search for the 10th and final escapee. This French Quarter business on Burgundy has shut down, being seized by the state. And officials tell me it was merely a mask for illegal operations. This new strand of fentanyl, green fentanyl as it's called, is sparking opioid-related emergencies. Folks at the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office are warning the community. Here's what they have to say. So when news of the indictment first broke, WGNO went to the community and we got real-time reactions from the people of New Orleans. Owner Gail Benson says now that the lease agreement is signed, her next goal is to petition the NFL to host yet another Super Bowl in the Superdome.